Kansas City 2021 MLS season preview. I am Mike Guillaume, your host, Sons of a Pitch, an American soccer podcast, bringing you Sporting Kansas City, SKC's preview for this season. Last season, 39 points, first place in the Western Conference, won the West in the regular season. Unfortunately, a disappointing exit in the playoffs to Minnesota United, losing that game at home at Children's Mercy Park. On this episode, we're going to talk about off-season ins and outs, designated player reviews, breakout Mls Cup odds, breakout youngsters, coach review, projected starting 11, most important player, talk about that first game coming up on April 17th, and lastly, predictions. Make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end of the show so you see my predictions for Sporting Kansas City this season in 2021. Before we get into the players in and players out, guys, please smash that like button, leave a like, a thumbs up if you enjoy American soccer content. Hit that like button, help us move our way up the algorithm here on YouTube. As well, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our awesome American soccer content. And with that, let's get into the business. Off-season ins and outs, players in for Sporting Kansas City. Remy Walter, midfielder, free agent. Kendall McIntosh, goalkeeper through the re-entry draft. Midfielder Grayson Barber, a homegrown player. Another homegrown here. Forward Ozzy Cisneros. Goalkeeper Brooke Thompson. And a free transfer, defender Nicholas Izimat Mirin. Players out for Sporting Kansas City. Goalkeeper Eric Dick, Juan Kuzain, Winston Reed, and Richard Sanchez all have their options declined. Matt Beasler out of contract, signed with Austin FC. And Eric Hurtado out of contract and listed here on the MLS site, signed with CF Monterrey. No, they did not sign with CF Monterrey. It's CF Montreal. So, little mistake there by MLS, but let's see if they fixed it by the time I put the graphics together for Sporting Kansas City. All right, so the players in, players out. I mean, not a ton of movement this year. A lot of homegrown signings for Sporting Kansas City. Remy Walter, we'll see what he's got coming in as a free agent. Nicholas Izimat Marine, same deal, free transfer. No big signings for Sporting Kansas City. Happy with the squad they've got. Leaving off a couple players like Winston Reed not coming back. Richard Sanchez, God, he was just a rental. The guy's horrible. Matt Beasler going to Austin FC. Not a ton of guys out that really hurt. So not a bad deal there. Designated player review. Time to talk about the big stars for Sporting Kansas City. That biggest star that shines the brightest for Sporting Kansas City, Alan Polito. Great first season with Sporting Kansas City. 13 appearances, 6 goals, 5 assists. Record transfer fee for SKC. They went all in. Alan Polito is rumored to go to some bigger clubs in MLS, bigger markets. In MLS, maybe not bigger clubs, but bigger markets. And he ends up signing with Sporting Kansas City and has a good year with SKC, albeit a COVID year, which just kind of the stopping and the starting and going to play in a little tournament that's made up. And then, it was kind of a weird year. So for Alan Polito, I think he will do nothing but improve and have himself a great season this year for Sporting Kansas City. Second designated player, Johnny Russell. Last year's team MVP. Oh, Johnny. Love Johnny Russell. 21 appearances, 6 goals, 4 assists. The leader of this team. Everybody loves this guy. At least it's what it seems like, at least from an outsider perspective. Everybody loves Johnny Russell. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, if there's anybody out there that doesn't. But Johnny Russell, the Scot, comes in and he just hustles, man. He gets it done. He plays hard. He wins balls. He scores goals. The man is a beast. Love Johnny Russell. Love seeing him playing for Sporting Kansas City, and I expect a good season out of him as well. All right, so MLS Cup odds plus 1,600 is what the book and the odd makers give SKC to win MLS Cup in Las Vegas at time of recording, which is March 26th. Still a little bit of time to go before the season starts, so this might change a little bit. But 7th place, right behind TFC and Philly, and right in front of Orlando City. So some decent odds for SKC. Is this the year they get over the edge? Peter Vermees has had a consistent contender with this club for a very, very long time, but they just haven't been able to get over the edge and win an MLS Cup since back in the early 10s there when they beat Real Salt Lake. Is this the year? Plus 1600s is the odds, so we will see if they can get it done. All right, Breakout Youngsters. Before we get into that, check out that little join button down below. We offer memberships here to Sons of a Pitch Soccer podcast community. We've got awesome perks, loyalty badges, custom emojis, MLS logos with American flag, all that awesome stuff. So go check out the join button. We got lots of perks, $4.99 for designated player level, $1.99 for starter level, and come join our club today and get into the best community in soccer. All right, now Breakout Youngsters. This part of the show is always tough, being a national podcast covering all 27 teams. Yes, I know everybody that starts some of the depth pieces, but cannot stay up on all the academies, all the youngsters moving through and coming up. So always reach out to Reddit. So thank you to everybody on Reddit who helped out in this one. And they helped me come to the consensus of these two players. Wilson Harris. He's got a hype train. Okay, on Reddit. The guy's like, I'm on the Wilson Harris hype train. If the dude's got a hype train, he's breaking out this year, period. He was signed as a 20-year-old striker as a homegrown player on October 21st of 2020. He scored 23 goals for Sporting Kansas City 2 since 2018, and that makes him the youngest USL Championship player to eclipse 20 career goals. He's doing something right down there for Sporting Kansas City 2. So I expect him to get some time this season and really break out. He earned Sporting Kansas City 2 MVP and USL Championship Young Player of the Year accolades. This is the year for Wilson Harris to really break out and be a big-time star in MLS. I don't know if he'll be, quite on a superstar level in MLS, but I expect him to break out and everybody to know Wilson Harris's name come the end of the season. All right. Second breakout youngster, Felipe Hernandez, could be the surprise of the year. 22-year-old midfielder, 8 starts last year with 16 appearances. He got some playing time last year. At 22 years old, he's kind of at that point now where he's got to break out or he's probably not gonna. So could be the surprise of the year. That's the talk on Reddit. So Felipe Hernandez, not as quite as much hype as Wilson Harris, but expect to have him kind of break out this season as well. So Felipe Hernandez, Wilson Harris are the two breakout youngsters for Sporting Kansas City here in the 2021 season. Again, big shout out to the Reddit community for helping out on that one. All right, time for our coach review. Peter Vermes, head coach. Is this his last year? Is this his last chance? What are your thoughts? As Sporting Kansas City fans, let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts on Peter Vermes? Is it time to move on? Do they need somebody else to get them over the hump? Or are we good with Peter Vermes? Do we like him still? Where are we at? Because I feel like as an outsider looking in, following the whole league as a whole, it kind of looks like Peter Vermes may be on the hot seat this season. If he can't quite get it over the hump, it might be his last season. Lots of success over the years, but it just seems like that hot seat just keeps getting hotter as the time goes and this team doesn't win an MLS Cup. Vermes is the longest tenured head coach in MLS and the 5th winningest coach in MLS history. So it gets to that point, right? Like, do you move on from a guy because he can't get you to that ultimate level, even though he does good every single year? It's hard to fire a guy who's doing really well. So it's kind of that tough spot that management, I think, has with Peter Vermes. And I think he's a hell of a coach. I'd take him in a heartbeat for my team. And I think that he will do well with Sporting Kansas City this year. But he's got to do something in the playoffs. That's what it all comes down to. So the team that's going to get them to the playoffs, I've got the projected starting 11 for this team coming out in a 4-3-3 formation. Tim Melia in goal. Martins from left to right. Martins, Izimat Miran, Puncic, and Lindsay in the back line. Then with Gadi Kinda, Busio, and Illy in the midfield, with up front Shelton, Polito, and Russell. So a very, very strong 11 from Sporting Kansas City, a team that I would not want to face, especially in a big game. So Melia, the goalkeeper of the year candidate, seems like every single year. He is starting to regress a little bit, but still a damn good keeper. And that that midfield there, Gadi Kinda and Gianluca Busio, is this Busio's year? Does he really break out, and do we see him move over to Europe like all that speculation that's been going on for the last while? Does he finally make that move after a good season this season? We'll find out. Alan Polito, Johnny Russell up front, Kyrie Shelton should be the guy that's slotting next to him. Again, that could change because it is March 26th, and there's time for that to change before the season starts. So now let's talk a little bit about the most important player. For me, the most important player is the guy that the team kind of rides his back. If this guy does well, the team's going to do well. If he doesn't do well, then the team's going to suffer. And that player for me is Alan Polito. He came in, he had a decent year last year, helped the team out immensely. If he has a great season, expect Sporting Kansas City to win some silverware. If he does not, then it might be an off year, and that might be the end of Peter Vermees's coaching tenure, the longest tenure in MLS. So Alan Polito, a lot riding on his season this year. He is my most important player for Sporting Kansas City. First game of the season comes up opening weekend, April 17th on Saturday against Red Bull of New York. They're going to be traveling out to the East Coast and taking on Red Bulls, a always tricky opponent on opening day. Always tricky opponent anytime you got to go to Red Bulls. Even though they might not be the best team this season, when you got to go there, it's always a tough matchup. So I think Sporting Kansas City can get it done, though, in the first game. I've got them winning that one. 3 points goes to Sporting Kansas City to open up the season. That's my best prediction as of right now. And speaking of those predictions, it's about time for that. But before that, hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell as well so you don't miss any of our awesome American soccer content. And hey, smash that like button as well. If you're still watching this, give us the thumbs up so that we can continue to get higher in the YouTube algorithm. All right, ceiling and a floor for Sporting Kansas City. What do we think? As far as a ceiling, if this team just does really well, all goes well and according to plan, I've got this team finishing third in the Western Conference. Little bit of a fallback from last year. I think they've probably got a little bit more work to do to catch up to last year's season. But again, they were tied for first, second, and third, all on 39 points. So it could have been any different way with goal differential. Ceiling third in the West, floor eighth in the West. This team is a playoff team. They're like 99% chance this team's going to be a playoff team. But it's MLS, and we all know that any team at any time can pull off a win and change things, and that could knock Sporting Kansas City out of the playoffs. So I've got third in the West as a ceiling, eighth as a floor. Sporting Kansas City should make the playoffs. So with that being said, thanks everybody for watching, and make sure to come back and see us on our next stream. Good luck to Sporting Kansas City this season, and I think you're going to have a good year. Enjoy it, and we will see you all very soon on the next episode of Sons of a Pitch, an American soccer podcast.